Hello, I'm Remiel.
It's nice to meet you.
You're not from Skyrim, are you?
No, I come from a clan deep within Greenshade.
Greenshade. That's in...
Valenwood, all the way to the south. What about you? Are you from here?
No, I'm from High Rock, all the way to the west. I'm traveling with my friend here for protection. I'm not very good with blades or magic.
I've never really been good at magic myself, but I am an excellent archer.
Well, it's good to meet you. I don't actually know your name.
My name is Auri.
Well, Auri, shall we head out?
Gladly.
Auri only eats her enemies, right? So I don't have to worry about what happens to my body if I die in our adventures? So, Auri, you're from Valenwood. Would you tell me about it?
I'd love to. What would you like to hear about?
I used to pretend that I lived in the forests of Valenwood. Are they as amazing as the stories say?
Yes, the trees grow tall and wide, and each one has a spirit of their own. The light would slip through the cracks between the branches. We used to lie on a bed of moss and watch the starlight.
That sounds beautiful. The closest I can think of is Falkreath Hold.
Falkreath's forests feel different. The trees sigh and weep.
I don't think I completely get it, but maybe I won't until I see Valenwood for myself. I have to ask, though, hasn't the Thalmor occupation changed the forests?
No, not even the Thalmor are stupid enough to wander into the forests of Greenshade. I didn't know anything about the Empire or the Thalmor before I had to flee my home.
I see. So the Thalmor don't really rule Valenwood.
The wild clans bow to nobody except Eerie and the Welder King.
That's incredible. I love someone telling the Thalmor where they can stick it.
Remiel's quite passionate about Dwemer, isn't she?
So, Ori, what is your family like?
My father was a hunter, and my mother dabbled in priesthood. Both of them spent most of their time alone, so it was mostly me and my sister.
I see. It sounds like you and your sister are close then?
My sister was... I'd rather not get into that right now.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry.
What about you? What was your family like?
Well, my father died when I was very young.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, don't be. I barely knew him. My stepfather has always been my real father to me.
Family doesn't always have to be blood-related.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Ori. I think Ori is a lovely singer.
Hey, Remiel, someday I'm going to show you how to forest couple.
Forest couple? What?
Falkreath is perfect for it.
Oh, you mean that thing that the Bosmer can do with the trees? Oh.
Don't worry.
I wonder if I should try making Ori some arrows from metal, in case she runs out of bone arrows. You're so good. Good boy.
Remy? Who are you talking to?
Oh, to Scrap. You know, the Dwemer spider that travels with me.
Wait, you can understand him.
I should hope so, since I'm his creator. Sort of. He's a good automaton. Yes, you are.
I don't trust the look of those things at all.
Why not? He's harmless. Well, to us anyway.
I realize it protects you and all, but it seems dangerous.
He's really not. I promise. He'll protect you too. Just try to trust him.
I will try my best.
That's all I ask.
I keep mistaking Remiel's spider for an enemy. I can't tell you how many times I've almost shot it. Don't tell her. There's something so eerie about Dwemer Ruins. All these lonely, abandoned halls.
It's so bizarre, isn't it? All their dishes and books just left out.
It's like they were just here.
Yes, and the silence lets the sounds of the machines echo strangely down the empty corridors.
This place makes me uneasy.
That's half the fun.
Yes, I agree.
Auri is really scary in battle sometimes. I'm glad she's with us. Oh, aren't these runes astounding? Look at how intricate some of the metalworking is.
Remy, I'm not entirely sure this is the best spot for a chit-chat. But I'll admit it's beautiful here. But I can't imagine living in constant darkness, day and night.
Usually I'm uncomfortable underground as well, but being in Dwemer Ruins is almost comforting to me now.
Being unable to see the sky makes me feel trapped. How long have we been here?
I'm not sure. Time is difficult for me to keep track of at the best of times, never mind when we're delving into runes.
I'm so confused. I need the sun.
Don't worry, Auri, we can't stay down here forever, no matter how much I wish we could.
Remy, step lightly and stay alert.
Why do you say that? You think it'll hold, right? The ceiling, I mean.
Remy, how are you doing?
I've been better, honestly.
I know it isn't much, but I want you to know that I'm here to share your burden in any way I can. Whether it is by killing your enemies or by lending an ear.
That means a lot, Auri. I'm just thinking of... Well, it's not something I like to talk about. I just feel so much guilt. Sometimes so much it physically hurts.
I know there's nothing I can say or do to take your pain away, but you'll learn to bear it.
I hope so. Some days it feels like I'm breaking down. It frightens me.
You won't break, I promise. And even if you did, I'd be right there to sew you back together again.
Thank you, Auri.
Be wary.
No need to worry, Auri. I've been in way more dangerous Dwemer runes.
Remiel, do you know about Eerie?
Well, I know that you worship him. Well, you and other Bosmer, I assume.
I've heard that some Bretons worship him as well.
Well, I know that the Altmer worship Eerie, which is basically the same god. Maybe that practice carried over into some Breton beliefs? I'm not too familiar with that.
You don't seem very religious.
No, I tend to view the divines a bit differently. But with Eerie, you're pretty religious. Tell me about them.
She taught the birds to sing and gave the rivers their tinkling ethereal tune. In return for her protection and blessing, we swore to never eat or harm any plant life or vegetation.
Oh, and thus the Green Pact. It's a pact with Eerie.
Yes. You know, there is a story about Eerie that my mother told me when I was very young. When we're somewhere safe, perhaps I could tell it to you.
I'd love that.
Remiel, I'd recommend caution going forward here.
You saw some animal tracks then. Auri, I was wondering about something you said. Let me think. I just had it in mind. Ugh, what was it? Think, Remy.
I'm kind of trying to sneak here.
Auri, I've been thinking about something. What if your skill in archery could be bottled, so to speak? Maybe the ability could be distilled from your blood, for example.
Wow. No offense, but that sounds like a terrible idea.
I admit it sounds a little far-fetched, but isn't that the best kind of theory if proven correct?
I don't think I'm comfortable giving my blood to some loony experiments.
Aw, why not? It could be so much fun.
Empathy really isn't your strong suit, is it?
Oh, well, now that you point it out, I don't think I'd like someone to take my blood either. Sorry.
Let's talk about something else. Skyrim cities are nice and all, but do they walk?
Walk? All these shops and stalls. There's just so much right for the taking. Oh, I mean...
I understand.
Oh, so you don't think stealing is,
Remy, in Valenwood, being a good thief is considered a virtue.
Oh. Wow, I just want to visit Valenwood more and more. Well, is there anything here that catches your eye?
Yes! Oh, look at that. It's quite something, isn't it?
Yes. And look at the items being sold next to it. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
If you distract the clerk, I'll pinch some goods.
That's what I wanted to hear. Auri always seems to say what's on her mind. It's nice.
If I see one more Nord giving me a dirty look, I'm going to rip off their face and eat it in front of them.
Oh. Whoa, they're really getting under your skin, aren't they?
I can't even tell you how many times I've been told by some Nord to go back to my precious forest. Honestly, this place is just sad.
Yeah, I don't think it's helped any by who's in charge of it.
Ulfric is a tosspot.
The Imperials think us all.
Yes, I definitely agree.
If I go ahead and spit in Ulfric's face, do you think we can run fast enough to get away?
Oh, I think it would be worth it either way.
It's cold. I'm cold.
Yes. I'm afraid our friend here will have to come back to defrost us if we don't get out of this snow. Ugh, some of these Nords are just so... Ugh!
Remy, if someone's bothering you, point me at them, and I'll teach them to disrespect you.
No need for that. Yet. I'll keep it in mind, though. Thank you.
There's nothing that's too low for them.
I prefer not to kill Spriggan, but they seldom leave me any choice.
I wish they'd understand that we mean them no harm.
I have to admit, newly baked pies and tarts smell lovely.
It's a shame they go against the Green Pact. I think you'd like them.
If they weren't so unethically made, I'd have to get a taste.
So, you can't eat plants. How about drinks? What kind do you like?
My favorite drink is Jaga. It's made of pig's milk and honey.
That actually sounds really good. So, in Valenwood, you guys must do a lot of hunting then?
Ah, I love a good hunt.
And in those hunts, are people sometimes the prey?
Never in my life have I murdered someone innocent just to feast on their flesh.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to imply... So, I won't have to worry about being eaten?
Don't you worry. Be wary.
Yes, that groaning sounds like Draugr. Not excited.
Hey, Remiel, I bet this area has an abundance of ghost stories.
Oh, most definitely. I can't wait to hear people at the next inn talking about them.
I do love a good ghost story.
Do you want to hear one? My father used to tell me all sorts of good ones.
Yes! Tell me.
Okay, great. Next time we're at an inn around here, someone remind me to tell one.
I'd kill for some rotmeth right now.
And I am craving some spicy Wyress wine. On the eve of the Witches' Festival, the Bretons of Camorn lock their doors and draw their curtains. The fog rolls in, without air, as the sun sinks below the horizon. Some say that the fog is smoke from witches' brews. Some think that it is oblivion, spilling over into Nirn. Little Agravall thought all of that was nonsense. At age 8.5, she was smarter than to think a mist was evil. So, after her parents finally fell asleep, she slipped out from bed and crept to the door. She slid the lock open and stepped bravely into the night. Agravall wandered into the fog until it was so thick that she could not even see her own hand in front of her eyes. All around her, she heard whispers and a strange sound, like when a dog whines. And she told herself not to be afraid. But when a tall figure, with too many arms and too many heads and too many eyes appeared from nowhere before her, she couldn't help but scream. She ran, panicked and lost in the fog, until she stumbled across a small cabin. She'd never seen it before, but still she pounded on the door. To her relief, it opened, and there stood a little boy, beaming at her as though she were the sun ending a dark night. She begged to be let inside, and he obliged. He told her she could stay until sunrise, and next to the warm fire, she eventually fell asleep. She woke to a soreness on her wrists and an uncomfortable warmth around her. Opening her eyes, she found herself tied to a slab, flames around her. Agravol called out for the boy, frightened and panicked. He appeared over her, still smiling that same smile. As she begged him to untie her, he began whispering in a strange language, like the voices that had surrounded her in the fog. And he made a strange sound, like when a dog whines, and his shadow stretched behind him with too many arms and too many heads. And he looked at her, too many eyes opening over his skin, and Agravol realized, with ice in her veins, that she'd been tricked into the strange cabin. The next morning, her parents woke to find her gone. And no matter how they searched, and how they called for her, Agravol was never seen again.
Creepy children. Doesn't get better than that. But I'm a little disappointed there wasn't actually a ghost.
Ori,
Something's
you seem
not
to be
right.
under attack. Alright, Ori, let's fire at will. This! And now an arrow from Ori. Ah! Ori! This one! Get this one over here! I've got this one off balance. Shoot
Are
them,
you
Ori!
looking for a fight?
Ori, cover me! Okay, Ori, let's lay down some cover fire. Well, I'm not dead, so that's a win in my book. You?
I'll be fine in a minute. You're getting a
And
real workout.
yet, only one of us sounds out of breath. Oh, what are you, Ori? If you're going to eat now,
Violence
Ori,
solves
can I
everything.
watch? Shit. Oh, did you see that, Ori? I got him.
Ha! You are unstoppable.
This crap did so great, don't you think, Ori?
Certainly. He's a good boy. You are. Yes, you are.
Good boy, Scrap. So good.